Hello and welcome. Farmers worldwide stand at the forefront of a globally developing movement, rebelling against perilous threats to their livelihoods and traditional ways of life. This uprising, often called the Farmers Revolt, is triggered by deepening concerns regarding Agenda 2030 and its inevitably disastrous impact on trusted agricultural practices and rural communities. Today's report investigates the reasons behind this rapidly growing resistance and explores how and why farmers fight so tenaciously against the oppression of the universally hated Agenda 2030. Agenda 2030 also disingenuously mislabeled Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs, is another satanic New World Order initiative driven by the United Nations after being adopted in 2015. It aims to control and manipulate every single aspect of social, economic, and environmental development. While falsely claiming noble objectives such as eradicating poverty and promoting sustainable practices, its covert purpose threatens farmers' existence and, therefore, menaces society at large. No farmers, no food. One of the primary concerns is Agenda 2030's green-washed emphasis on sustainability, which inflicts needlessly stringent regulations that unlawfully and unconstitutionally prohibit long-standing and eminently successful farming practices. Farmers vehemently contest the economic impacts of ruinous Agenda 2030 policies. They rightly argue that such tyrannical regulations can only result in significantly higher production costs and reduced profitability for small-scale farms already struggling with thin profit margins. Furthermore, they cite unfair competition from large agri-businesses better equipped to comply with new standards. The Farmers' Revolt is not solely driven by economic factors, but also by a desire to protect rural communities and their unique way of life. Many farmers argue that Agenda 2030's focus on urbanisation and sustainable cities neglects the importance of rural areas and their vital role in food production. Neglecting rural communities imposes declining agricultural heritage, cultural identity, and social cohesion. Farmers have taken various actions to voice their concerns and protect their interests in response to these hostile threats. They've organised wide-ranging protests, demonstrations and lobbying efforts to raise awareness among both policymakers and the public regarding the potential consequences of implementing Agenda 2030 at an irrecoverable cost to agricultural communities. Additionally, they've forged alliances with like-minded organisations and individuals who share these concerns. The Farmers' United Revolt against Agenda 2030's impossible aim of net zero is a testament to the deep-rooted resentment held by farmers worldwide regarding the manipulated future of agriculture under this land-grabbing global initiative. It seeks to usurp productive farmlands into so-called green energy, disregarding the disastrous environmental ruin and obliteration of essential food provision. Wind and solar energy are hopelessly inefficient, miserably inadequate, and environmentally ruinous. Ugly wind farms visually pollute hitherto attractive landscapes. and unsightly solar panels suffocate agriculturally productive earth while obscenely violating countryside aesthetics. Addressing farmers' valid concerns regarding adverse effects on their livelihoods and rural communities is crucial. Policymakers must work towards finding a balanced approach to safeguarding the interests of those on whom our food security depends, our farmers. But the unacceptable reality is that no government agency or misplaced authority will do anything to assist the farmers. In the global heartlands of agriculture, a formidable uprising continues as farmers everywhere unite in defiance against tyrannical globalist oppression. Fueled by grievances ranging from governmental overreach to rapacious corporate exploitation, this promising movement signals a pivotal shift in the struggle for agricultural autonomy and rural rights. Amidst the verdant fields and rolling pastures, the increasingly desperate plight of farmers has simmered beneath the surface for many decades. Policies favouring industrial agriculture, unwanted GMO intrusion, monopolistic control over seeds and pesticides, while dwindling profits have chipped away at the livelihoods of those who till the soil. Recently, the burden has grown heavier, exacerbated by draconian regulations, covetous land grabs, and economic disparities orchestrated by unelected globalist bullies. The catalyst for this widespread revolt lies in a series of events that have galvanised farmers into action. From India's historic protests against contentious agricultural laws to Europe's outcry over proposed pesticide bans, the simmering discontent has transcended borders, uniting farmers in a common cause as never before. Solidarity knows no bounds as farmers from diverse backgrounds stand shoulder to shoulder in resolute defiance. In Canada, convoys of tractors block highways in protest against toxic jab mandates, echoing the spirit of non-cooperation increasingly witnessed in many other parts of the world. Meanwhile, indigenous communities and smallholders in Brazil unite to safeguard their lands against encroachment by avaricious agribusiness giants. The battle for autonomy and self-determination lies at the heart of the Farmers Revolt. They demand the right to choose their historical cultivation methods, preserve traditional farming practices, and resist the unsought imposition of one-size-fits-all regulations that exclusively favour predatory corporate interests over local livelihoods. The struggle against corporate land grabbing looms large as multinational conglomerates tighten their death grip on the agricultural sector. Farmers are ensnared in a web of dependency from seed patents to market monopolies, with little recourse against the seditious forces dictating their fate. Governments, too, face the ire of farmers and their supportive communities as they push draconian policies, serving corporate interests rather than the welfare of rural populations. The erosion of land rights, the criminalisation of seed saving, and the neglect of smallholder agriculture have ignited the flames of discontent, prompting farmers to demand accountability and equitable representation. In the face of adversity, grassroots movements emerge as potent and invariably unstoppable force for change. Farmers harness the power of collective action from local cooperatives to transnational alliances, to challenge the status quo and reclaim their agency in shaping the future of agriculture. As the Farmers Revolt grows exponentially, the road ahead is fraught with challenges and uncertainties. Yet, amidst the chaos, there is hope for a more just and sustainable agricultural system, honouring the contributions of those who steward the land and nourish the world. In the annals of history, this eminently courageous Farmers' Revolt will be remembered as a testament to the indomitable spirit of rural communities and their unwavering commitment to freedom, justice and sovereignty. As tractors rumble and protest banners flutter in the winds of change, the strident echoes of dissent reverberate far and wide, heralding a new dawn for agriculture forged in the sacred flames of resistance and solidarity. Success can only be achieved when the rest of the community joins the fight by taking meaningful action in every way possible. This channel, along with a great many other independent alternate news providers, has consistently exposed the seditious machinations of globalist traitors masquerading as governments. I'm relieved to report the level of scathing ridicule and derisory insults has diminished in tandem with the egregious falsity of the government narrative becoming blindingly obvious. In other words, everything we've been diligently reporting has proven to be incontestable fact, albeit studiously unacknowledged by criminal mainstream media. We know the globalist trolls have already lost the narrative, with increasingly ever more awake and aware groups and individuals coming to understand the seriousness of the situation. In the same vicious manner as cornered rats, these desperate globalist ghouls are pulling every dirty trick in the book and then some. For example, their criminal courts have resorted to refusing to accept exculpatory evidence that would exonerate targeted individuals the deep state seeks to silence. They unlawfully and illegally abducted German human rights lawyer Rainer Fulmich from Mexico, despite no extradition treaty between these countries, to transport him back to Germany by criminal means of extraordinary rendition. At the time of this report, he remains unlawfully kidnapped and jailed without trial for over 4 months. In the UK, independent news journalist and successful filmmaker Richard D. Hall has become yet another victim of the most egregious judicial malfeasance. But this ominous development must be the subject of an upcoming video. So, for the moment, thank you for watching.